Like, I'm a chaotic ingredients chef. I'm like,
Flavour.
let's play. I want the oven up high. I don't do as much technique. I just want like punchy flavours.
I think, to
and
be
to
honest,
have a bit of fun.
So today I'm in Margate and I'm going to be recording with Ruby Rare for the podcast. I don't know what we're cooking, but I've been asked to bring ginger beer and limes. And I'll be honest, I've never worked with someone who said that they work in the sex industry before. Ruby Rare is a sex educator, so let's go in and find out what that means. Hi!
Hi, gorgeous.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, pleasure. How are you doing?
What a house!
Thank you.
It's amazing.
Sweet, weird little strange house.
No, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's an amazing painting.
This is my dad's.
Is he an artist?
He is an artist, yeah.
Oh, I love
and
that.
I had it like here for months, and then me and my sibling, who lives with me as well, finally were like, today's the day, we're hanging it up.
Oh, I love
We're getting it done.
Love
But
it.
yeah. Welcome.
It works with all the Polly Pocket stuff.
Please be careful, because this is
just about.
You're kind of in it. Strange little fisherman's cottage. So
Oh my gosh, it's
low doors,
so
wonky
cute.
bits.
You said to bring ginger beer and
I
lime.
said to bring ginger beer, although I have a surprise for you that we're not cooking what I told you we were going to cook.
Oh, great! I love that. Even better. Honestly, truth.
I shop. There's a really lovely food co-op that's up the road,
Right.
which is where I do most of my shopping.
Okay.
And so I went this morning, and I had a vision of what I might want to cook, and I was like, oh, they don't have any of those things.
It's cool.
So sweet. We're gonna make, but I kind of like being led by
On the
what's
hoof.
there.
It's good. Defo.
Yeah.
So you're into curries. I've read your bio on your website.
I'm into curries, but also it's May now. It feels, I mean, I love curries in the middle of summer, but I've just been making loads of sexy salads.
Sexy
so I think
salads
we're
is
going to
where
do
it's
sexy
at.
salads
I
instead.
just love all this stuff.
I know there's nowhere, your eyes are just like constantly going to rest somewhere and then ping somewhere else, I feel.
So Ruby Rare,
Yeah.
need to ask, is that your real name?
Ruby is my real name.
Rare.
I have a
is
pedestrian
good-
surname, but
I wish I'd changed my surname.
I'm glad I did.
Did you do it a long time ago?
I did it ages ago, and it was literally just my Instagram handle. But when I had like
It's a good name.
no presence in any way, so
And so looking, because I've just sort of introduced what I'm doing here today in Margate, and I've never met someone who's called themselves a sex educator before.
really,
No.
well, welcome.
So
I'm happy to
I
be
need
your
to know about
first.
your job and your first, not my last.
No, there'll be loads more in your future, I'm sure.
Good. So what we're going to cook and why, and then we can get chatting.
So we've got some carrots, and I want to bake them and make like a miso maple glaze that's
Yum.
going to go on top of them. And then I got loads of rocket and green beans and cucumber, and so big old hearty green salad. And then I've got 2 salad dressings that I love making, and I think I'm going to make like the lime leaf and satsuma one.
Oh, that sounds absolutely
So
delicious.
that, and then I've got some pineapples and lemon balm outside. If we want to do, and we've got some birthday cake because it was my sibling's birthday a couple of days ago.
Okay.
So we can have that.
Cool. Let's get going.
Yeah.
What?
I have to admit, I had absolute like middle class panic fear of like,
Why?
oh my God, Claire's coming over. I have to make like the most incredible thing of all time. And then going, no, I just have to, we're having
what you
lunch. We're having a chat. We're having lunch.
100%.
It's
And
fine.
that is what it sort of anchors the whole thing, is that we all just need to eat, don't we?
And it can be fun. It can be delicious, but I don't need to be like,
No,
this
we're not
gastronomic thing. So I had to have like a talking to myself this morning going,
I like that you had to talk into
chill
yourself.
out, babe. It's
Yeah,
fine.
it's some carrots. What can go wrong?
It's carrots. It's carrots.
Right. What do we do with the carrots then?
So why don't you start with carrots?
Do you want them peeled or not peeled?
No, I'm not bothered with peeling.
Yeah, me too.
That's the best knife.
Right, shall I use that one then?
You can use the
Ooh,
good knife.
sharp. How do you
Yeah,
want them chopped?
I did sharpen them for you.
How do you want them chopped?
I think if we halve them long ways and then cut them on a bias.
Yes.
And
You've cooked before, I can
yeah.
tell. Like that?
Yeah, that's perfect. And
Okay.
the oven's on already. So
Great.
And I'm going to do some cucumbers while you do that.
So talk to me about what your job entails.
Oh, okay. So I guess my job has had like a longer trajectory over a decade now. I started off where I need to, wash these cucumbers and then I can come and park with you properly.
Okay.
I started working in sexual health, working with a charity called Brooke, who
Right.
are amazing, and I still do lots of stuff with them today. I'm an ambassador for them, which feels kind of wild.
Sexual health for all people of all ages.
All people of all ages. When I was working for them, they were specifically young people. So I was like going into schools, teaching sex and relationship education.
So important.
Which is amazing. And it's kind of my favourite thing I've ever done. And I think even though now most of my work is like for adults, working with young people really shaped the way that I talk about this. And I basically realised like I moved into working with adults because I realised that they had the same questions that like 14-year-olds were asking me.
Yeah.
Going, wow, okay, everyone in my generation and above has been failed by sex education and has gone into the world completely clueless.
Yeah, because we had a condom and a banana when I was
Yeah, and that's
14.
like if you're lucky. I got condom and banana. I also got like my RE teacher telling me that sex could be pleasurable, but also was like physically exhausting. Where it's like, oh, that's not okay.
That doesn't sound fun.
Also, like, you don't need to talk about your own sex life. That's actually really inappropriate in this context.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Yeah, not ideal that. And then I've just gone on to like, I guess I'm a queer person and talking about conventional relationships.
So define queer. What do you mean by that in relation to you?
Queer is like a big old umbrella term.
Yep.
Which is basically anything that falls outside of cisgendered, so you identify with the gender that you were assigned when you were born.
Yep.
And straight, so you were attracted to the binary opposite gender. So I am not that. I am a queer person in that I am attracted to loads of different people. I feel like I am increasingly gay by the day, but swimming somewhat in a bisexual soup.
Love that.
Actually, there was a chapter in my first book called like swimming in the bisexual soup, and I really enjoyed that as a phrasing. So I've just
it depends what soup as well, because there's some soups that have been less nice to swim between. Maybe
I'm
not
thinking like
soup.
a really sexy consomme, like a tomato consomme, something like that.
Chilled.
Yeah,
Not
very
hot,
more like a
chunky soup.
gazpacho or something. So yeah, and like I think it's getting comfortable having conversations that most people feel really scared to have. God, you're so speedy. Oh my gosh.
Do you want salt on this?
Yeah, let's salt and pepper it.
Oil.
And then let's just do that for now. We'll chuck them in. It's
Right.
funny cooking with someone who like
Cooks.
cooks.
Why funny?
Because
Left that in there.
I actually had a chat. I was having dinner with a mate last night who, just pop it on the top.
Put those in the oven, salt and pepper.
Gorgeous, and we can keep an eye on it. That's what I love about cooking veg is you can kind of forget about
can't
stuff.
go wrong.
I can't go wrong. But yeah, I was.
So sorry, back. We interrupted.
Yeah.
So back to you. So in the sexual soup of loving relationships, you're happy wherever, right?
Sort. I mean, I think there is a political angle to queerness as well.
Yes.
In that it's not just who you're attracted to, but it's also this idea of kind of how do we queer the way that we do relationships, the way that we interact with people. And I guess from that, I mean, like looking away from the expected. There are these terms like relationship scripts and sexual scripts that are really useful in my job of just thinking about all the messages from all the different places that you've received throughout your life of what sex and relationships are supposed to look like. And for me, queering is an invitation to like mess all of that up and go, why do we think we need to do that? Could we do it differently? Can we be doing it in a way that's more specific to our own desires or our lives?
And in a world that we live in, which is so multicultural and multifaceted, it's quite nice to have that kind of jumble rather than the one or the other, which feels like you're going to ostracize people. So I get it completely.
And there's loads of traditional stuff that's gorgeous, but I guess it's like doing any of those bits with intention rather than just doing, well, this is what you do.
Yes.
You're meant to do this, so I guess I'll go along and do it. Because I think that's where dissatisfaction and unhappiness can kind of creep in. And I want pleasure in people's lives. I want joy.
Yes, definitely. I'm a 45-year-old woman with 3 daughters, and I realised
How old are they?
18, 15 and 12.
Oh, that's a nice. Well done. You staggered that really well.
But I feel like the world is much more sort of like exciting for this generation going into the world. It does feel less like there's things that you ought to do or supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I feel as parents, maybe we a bit more sort of accepting of all that, which is 100% what we should be.
Yeah.
And I suppose with that sort of like hugeness in the world, it's exciting, isn't it? So just not to be frightened of it or like worried.
I think it's easy for adults, particularly parents, to like let the fear creep in. What you can do for me is pop those ends up.
Just the ends, not bottoms. I never bother with sock
I'm
and
not
tailing.
bothered with the bottoms.
I like the bottoms.
Honestly,
We
if I
like
was on my
bottoms.
own, sometimes I wouldn't do the tops if I really couldn't be bothered.
No,
But
I think the top can be a bit stalky, so get the tops
no,
off.
that's just if I'm feeling like full, I'm going to be a rabbit mode.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do this dressing.
Are you vegetarian?
I am vegetarian.
Yeah.
I'll occasionally have a prawn. Which I call like my holiday prawn.
One prawn.
No, like some prawns, and then I will like suck the heads off them and be like a proper little.
Well, I think by the
menace.
sea you have to.
Yeah, but no, mostly veggie, and I have been for like a decade now.
So I'm pretty much vegetarian too. I
Yeah.
eat meat sometimes, but not really. Broadly vegetarian. Who taught you to cook, and why do you love cooking so much?
My mum taught me to cook, and I was chatting to her about this the other day because I think like that's why I love cooking. Sri Lankan curries makes me so happy, but also it's kind of I'm like mixed race, but
Right.
I think
What mixed
Sri
race?
Lankan and British.
Okay. Is your mum or dad Sri Lankan?
My mum, yeah.
Is she a good cook
But
then?
she's an amazing cook, and like my granddad's a good cook, and my dad's good as well. But like he's, when they were together, it was very much him learning from a lot of her stuff as well. But for me, being dual heritage and being quite white passing, particularly towards white people, food is a beautiful way for me to connect with like the Sri Lankan part of my heritage.
Yes.
So that's kind of how I grew up. Also, like my sibling was diagnosed with celiac disease when they were tiny, like 2.
Oh, that must be hard.
Yeah, it was a lot. And so actually food became really important in our house because it was in the early 90s where like gluten-free just was not a conversation you would have.
Did it exist?
Absolutely not. And so my mum learnt how to bake.
I mean, of course it
gluten-free.
existed. Rice.
Yeah, but
all that stuff.
like you had to get prescription bread. It was
Yeah.
like the saddest bread I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
So I think food became really important at home, and like I would go to other people's houses and be like, oh wow, we didn't eat like pasta at home. It was all rice based. And
In Margate the whole time?
no, in Lewisham in London.
Okay, so London girl.
London girl, born and bred, and
So why the move to Margate?
I mean seaside.
Yeah, it's good.
I feel a bit like a wanker. I've been down here for 4 and a bit years now, so I feel like I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But there was definitely a wave of us in lockdown of going, what if
Moved.
what if I didn't live in a city that's quite stressful and I made
Yeah.
my life easier and I lived across the sea? Like,
How old are you?
I'm 32.
Gosh, you look younger than 32.
Do I?
Yeah.
Sometimes I find it interesting talking about sex and relationships.
Right.
I can be met with like a dismissive attitude because I look younger. And also I guess because I can be typecast as one of those like woke radicals.
Angry people.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, sometimes I get angry, but not very often. But going like, no, I've actually been doing this for a decade, and I have an awareness of how this continues to change with time, and I'm not trying to like mansplain or be patronising.
Tell me what your thoughts are of woke as a term. I just think it's bandied around so much. I mean, what is it?
I think people who use the word woke are very scared of difference and change.
Yeah.
And I think there's and also from the left, there's a desperation at this point to be heard and to be recognised in different like political views and identities. And so I kind of get the fact that we're allowed to be angry because the world's going to shit and we kind of need to do something about it, but we're not. But I think woke is very dismissive.
I think it's dismissive.
Yeah.
There needs to be a term that sort of is like that you don't need to feel like it's a bad thing. I feel like it's good to be like thoughtful and worried and complicated about your feelings.
And to be like radical and alternative. I don't think are necessarily bad things.
No.
But
What makes you radical then?
what makes me radical? I mean, the big one, so I brought a book out at the beginning of the year called The Non-Monogamy Playbook.
Right.
So that is something that I have done myself for
Yes.
a decade.
Yep.
And that tends to be one of the things that people are like, oh, okay, we don't know about that. What's going on there? So kind of re-questioning relationship standards and monogamy not being a part of my life. Mm-hmm. Feels like a pretty radical one.
What, forever or for now, or you don't need to sort of label it as such.
I'd be really surprised if I was ever fully monogamous again. I think I know this trivializes it, and like from the outside, one of the issues is it's just like brought down to sex, and it's not about that. It's way more. But at the same time, being like, wow, I've had a decade of it like not being an issue if I snog someone else in a club. I'm not going back from that. Why would you, once you've figured out a way of that feeling okay?
And what happens when you're like, do you want children?
Jury's out at the minute.
Yeah.
I'm trying to live this decade without the expectation that needs to happen or should.
It's so difficult for women.
Well, and it's like plagued me for the last couple of years. And like now that my mates are having kids, I can kind of feel the pressure coming in.
And not women. That should be rephrased. It's so difficult for the age group of when you're just expected to start going, my biological whatever
Here
it is.
I go.
I got to get my genes down for the next generation.
But also, I think especially if you've been socialised as like a woman and in a feminine way, there's like extra pressure. Sorry, this is horrible audio, but I need to get my lime leaves out.
I feel like I just desperately wanted to be a mum.
But that's incredible. I've got so many of my close mates are just like, I am ready for this. I really want it, and it's incredible to see. And I would only do it if I really, really wanted to, because I can also recognise it's so hard.
It's bloody exhausting. Also, it's really wild having a human being that you've developed, and then you, like, my daughter's 18 and she's ready to leave, and I'm like, is she ready? Have I done enough? Like, what else do I need to make sure, apart from being able to cook? What else does she need to know?
Well, that's a really good life skill that you've definitely given her. So I love that.
I feel like there's more though, isn't there? There's so much more to the world when you're 18 and you're leaving and you're going to go alone. I feel like it's a wild ride.
How much? Also, where are you at with spice?
Good. I'm so good with spice.
Sweet. We will.
Chilies. Which are they? What?
They're just
chilies.
Yeah. Nothing super special.
So in this we've got satsuma juice, lime leaves,
garlic, ginger, and I've got my dad's wife is Kenyan and gets like the best really spicy ginger.
Okay.
And a bit of, I think I chucked like half a spring onion in there. Whenever I do these, it's like a choose your own adventure situation.
So we've got 2 green chilies. How many cloves of garlic? 2 lovely looking ginger and satsuma juice.
And then sesame oil.
I
might put some Szechuan peppercorns in
Love
there.
those.
I am not, what's the thing, like a recipe chef or an ingredients chef? Like, I'm a chaotic ingredients chef. I'm like, let's play. I want the oven up high. I don't do as much technique. I just want like punchy flavours.
I think, to be honest, people get very worried about oven temperatures, but either, you know.
So this is a shit oven. Like, I'm not, it's either on or it's off.
You put it on 200 or it's on or it's off. Like, unless you're baking something. Do you know what I mean?
And even then, like, the options for baking are very limited right now because that oven is on or off. I'm okay with it. I will bake.
About a teaspoon of Szechuan pepper. Love that.
Yeah, this book, More Than Cake, is incredible. And I will make a cake from there like 3 times a year, and I'll be really impressed with myself. And then I'll be like, cool, don't need to do that again for another 4 months.
Your sweet treats poster.
I do love a dessert, but I don't always need to be the one who is making it. And what else do I want to put in? Soy sauce and rice wine vinegar.
Wow, okay.
I think that's
it. Flavour bomb. Central, that is.
Well, but sexy salads is the easiest thing in summer, of just going like veg and then...
rice vinegar.
Yeah, and then a similar glug.
Soy sauce. Yeah. And you're going to NutriBullet that?
Yep. Shall we do the noisy bit?
Okay,
and then we can taste and see what else we need to do.
Wow, that is some dressing.
Yeah.
It looks good.
And I like making like a massive one sometimes and then just having it in the fridge.
I love the fact that you've got sequined juicy across your bottom.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I collect juicy tracksuits.
How many have you got?
About 7.
Okay, that's quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good vibe, isn't it?
These Polly Pockets. I collect like 1950s and 60s lingerie and like peignoirs, like those little house coats and things. I've got loads of them upstairs. Peignoirs.
Peignoirs.
It's the fancy. It's like, you know, the like pastel-y, super flammable, floor length, like sheer.
Sexy.
Yeah.
Sexy housewife.
Sexy housewife.
But sort of constrained housewife.
And maybe like shagging the postman or the milkman kind of vibe. I've been collecting them since I was like 16.
Wow.
So I like to collect things.
Yeah, what put you on your path of like Polly Pockets and how did you grow up thinking that was all what you wanted to collect, all these crazy things? Not that Polly Pockets are crazy.
No, well,
I mean,
it's definitely...
It's very bright house.
Slightly eccentric behaviour I am definitely happy with.
Yeah, I like that.
I think they all... I mean, there's the kind of like sex and pleasure side to it in that... Wait.
How does it taste?
It's nice. I'm going to get you a spoon.
Thanks.
It's a bit thin for me, but I think when it's everything else, it's fine.
Mmm.
Yeah?
Oh my God, it's delicious.
Can I get your expert opinion if that needs anything else?
No. I think the orange is really good in it, isn't it?
Orange and lime leaf. There's like an ottolenghi dressing for beetroot stem tempura that is chili, mandarin and lime leaf. And so I've kind of like over the years stopped using the recipe and just like gone off piste and made different things. So
it's no longer Ottolenghi's recipe, it's your recipe, and that's fine.
Via him, but like, yeah.
But I feel like if anyone cooks Ottolenghi stuff, you're like, you've got carte blanche to use Szechuan pepper with whatever you want.
I think so. It's nice to just mix it up a little bit. Great. I'm going to put the kettle on for these.
What,
to
boil
have
them?
a look. I'm just going to blanch them.
Okay.
Because I can't.
So we were talking about sex and pleasure, back to that.
Yes. So, I mean, all of the collection stuff, I think it's like giving myself permission to have fun. Yes. And some of that is nostalgia. And I think like Polly Pockets in particular, there's an art form to them. And they're like these little strange eccentric worlds. And I loved them as a kid. And then there's that point in your adolescence where you're kind of told to stop playing.
Yes.
And so a part of it is like coming back to that of saying like, what if play is like an essential inherent part of existence, and what does it mean as an adult for me to access that through like this stuff that is meant to just be for kids and you shouldn't play with, but actually is really fun and interesting, and then through like pleasure and sex and exploration and all this kind of stuff. Like there's so little room for grown-ups to like really have fun and play.
Because it gets bogged down with the...
Because we've got loads of shit to do and it's stressful. Like, not in a... that's not me going like, it's your fault if you're not having enough fun in your life. But it's... We're just taught to not prioritise having a good time.
Yeah, I get that completely. And you kind of like... You're in the sort of... People... I just get it. People are always going, oh, I'm so busy. But like, okay, well, you don't have to... But you have to like prioritise where the busyness needs to lie in your life and make sure that... You know, I just really want my kids to grow up in a household that isn't with parents going, I'm so busy and stressed all the time.
And also, and like, I try to say I'm busy less. Maybe we'll do this.
You know when you meet those people
it's so easy to just be like, oh God, I'm really busy.
So busy.
And also at the same time, I am, and I'm rubbish at replying to like my friends who I love on WhatsApp, and like, you know, life gets really bogged down and messy.
WhatsApp.
I know, but then like, why is like that the pinnacle of what we're after? It feels
We're not though, are we?
No.
I love it when I get to leave the group. I'm like, bye! This part of my life's done.
See, I'm still too awkward to do that. I'll archive them, but I can't leave.
No, Claire has left. I love it.
Well done. Okay, we're going to use all of this.
Yes.
So I'm going to get you a little spoon.
I love white miso.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's like...
And then, where's my smallest spoon?
Smallest teaspoon. There's one there.
There's like here we go.
Do you use all types of miso or do you always go for white? I kind of love this one the most.
There's not much availability around here, to be honest. I do like others. There's the like barley one is quite nice, but most of the time it's that.
And there's red ones.
Never used a red one. If you put that in the blue bowl, and then I'm going to get maple and a bit of sesame, and then when the carrots are a bit more zhuzhed, we'll add them in.
So all of this,
salt, maple syrup, sesame oil.
Into here?
Yeah.
So
and actually, let's do lau gan ma with this as well.
That's
because I struggle to have a meal without this in.
It's
but
so
I'm also
dangerous.
like, it has to have one component. Like, this can't just be the dominant flavour of everything. But we'll put that with the carrots.
My stepmom is from the Szechuan province in Chengdu.
Nice.
And like she can't get over the fact that this brand in
thing.
this country, like...
Well, it just exploded because it used to be, there was another one, Chu Chow, when I was growing up that we were obsessed with and we would like go to Chinatown to get it. And then this one just sort of like rose from nowhere.
And she looks so sort of like sad on the job, and she's made so much money now. Like she's like a
and
brand.
She's brought so much joy to my life.
Yeah, you can make it, but yeah, you can buy that stuff, and it's just delicious.
I mean, life's too short to make it. I've tried a couple times, and I do have a fantasy of one day like making my own chili oil.
I'll send you a recipe.
Okay, good. I would like to give it a go, but also.
What do you want in here?
Glug of maple syrup and sesame oil.
It's so expensive. So expensive.
I know.
Maple syrup, isn't it?
My sibling is an absolute fiend for it.
So. A tablespoon?
Yeah. Tablespoon's good.
Tablespoon of that. Your sibling is a fiend for maple syrup.
Oops. Absolutely. And so I feel like
What's your sibling called?
Maya. So yeah, I get to use a lot because a bit of sesame. And then
do you cook together?
Yeah, we do often. We cook together and then we cook for each other a lot. And then sometimes if we're both feeling lazy, we'll do like...
Yeah, what do you do?
We'll do a collab meal where both of us will put like 50% of our effort in of what we would have cooked for both of us. And then we actually create something beautiful because we're like, oh, well, I was just going to like fry up this tofu, but I can't bother to do anything else. And I was like, okay, well, I'll do this veg. And
so 50% would be frying tofu. I like that. It's not shaking cereal into a bowl. It's still cooking.
It's still cooking. I also like cooking calms me down.
Yeah.
I really enjoy like at the end of the day this being like a thing I do where I can listen to my little podcasts or music or whatever. It kind of calms me.
What do you want? Teaspoon of this?
I'll get you another teaspoon.
I think I need a fork. I like that.
Fork it up.
Just for that mixing. Thanks, love. I think cooking does have that. It's just like, it's such a nice thing to do. But I get that, you know, it's like you need the luxury of time and the money to buy the nice ingredients, and it's loaded, isn't it?
Well, and also I think the biggest, like the privilege of having some understanding of food and cooking where like it doesn't stress me out because I've grown up with food being like an invitation, again, like to play and to create something comforting and nice for myself. Yeah, I like your helpings for that.
Yeah, I feel like that's what food should be. And the thing essentially about cooking and food is that it's hospitable, isn't it? So you invite people around, going back to that motif of like play and like being sociable and having fun. Mm-hmm. Like it'd be a horrible world if we didn't cook together and make delicious things to eat around a table.
But also I'm trying to get better at like when I have people over for dinner, the priority being the social aspect. Because otherwise I will stress out and I'll spend so long like trying to make something impressive and making sure that like my house is really tidy, and I'll forget that the important thing is like seeing my friends who I love and being like, actually I could like make us slices of toast with marmalade on them and we could sit around and have tea and toast, and that would also be nice. Yes. And so like trying to sometimes lean into the performance when it feels fun and you've got the energy, but also go like, no, there are times when we need to eat, but we want to see each other.
I feel like that about food, and I can cook fast and quickly and
you can cook speed. Really, you're like, we are on different time zones right now.
But sometimes you feel like, yeah, you do need to just pare back and make, you know, this is why things like this dish is perfect, isn't it? Because you're just making a delicious assembly of ingredients. It's not going to take too long to make, is it?
I love finding ways to give myself permission to make my life easier.
I love your salad servers, let's be honest. Where did you get these from?
From Fuerteventura about 10 years ago.
Oh my God.
But they are quite crap as salads. I need I don't buy that many kitchen stuff for myself. And I realise I probably owe it to myself because I love cooking. I want a really good omelette pan. I'm making an omelette out of that, and it's massive. I don't have good salad servings. It's way too big. And then my omelettes, like when I'm cooking them just for me, it's fine, but they're a bit like huge, and you know.
What happened to the man on the salad servers?
He went a long time ago.
Sadly,
he's been decapitated, which you know maybe not the worst thing.
No, I get it. Right, dressing that.
We're going to pop those in, but we can do that. Actually, no, let's do the dressing after. I'm going to do slight.
Should we check on the carrots?
While I gave them a little shake, but I'd love your expert opinion.
Oh, and some carrots. I'm sure they'll be...
Need a little bit more. And then, do you feel like having some pineapple afterwards? I made like a sesame cake the other day
Do you know? Do you want? I would just. You know what? Also, like, do you want those to go quicker?
Yeah.
I just pop them on the bottom because that's where the heat is, and you'll get that nice caramelised.
Thank you. I always thought that heat rose in ovens.
It's the flame is on the bottom of that oven,
so it's just gonna.
So if you just want a bit of colour and you want it to go quicker, hotter, which is what.
Thank you very much for your insight.
Right, so I'm getting hot. Might need to.
I know. Well, let's also open the back door because otherwise this house does get a bit.
Let me just
steamy.
put this off.
I bought myself a windbreaker the other day. I'm so chuffed with it.
Windbreaker?
Yeah. Like that big plastic sheeting for on the beach. I'm so excited to use it.
And you've never owned one before?
Never owned one before. My family was the kind that, like, in the British summertime, we were like, rain or shine, we'll have our packed lunches. We're going to sit on the beach and have a good time.
Did you go to Sri Lanka ever as a family?
We went quite a lot when I was a kid, but we also spent loads of time in Norfolk, so like quite different seasides.
Wow, so different seasides. Like windy, blustery, cold, freezing British winters, and then gorgeous hot.
In the winter here, we used to call the sea windy chocolate. That was my siblings' little coinage.
Yeah, brilliant. I think I came to Margate, like I said earlier, on a school trip with my primary school, and I think we went to Dreamland. I just parked the car by it, and I was like, that looks familiar. And then my brain was like, but it looks like the Banksy thing that they did in Western Superman.
Yes,
it's not supposed to look dystopian, right?
No, it's not. Well, also right now, watch out. Right now, there's. Do you know the novel Dreamland, which is like a dystopian novel?
By who?
Oh, I can't remember her name. I feel bad. Maybe it's Sarah something. That is set in Margate and it's being filmed right now.
Right.
So I think some of the set dressing is still remaining there and it does look a bit more dystopian than it normally does. But
it looks like honestly, you know when you get a memory in your brain, you're like, I think I went there when I was like 9, and then I parked the car and I walked past the car park. Even the car park looks kind of like desolate and a bit like murder scene maybe.
And when the sun comes out, it looks more cheery here, but also it's a funny one, like moving down here. And obviously there's been so much change in this area and loads of people come and visit because it's trendy and there's like quite a good food scene. Well, no, it's also Margate's Thanet. This area is still in like the top 10 most deprived areas of the country.
Is it?
Like in terms of people below the poverty line.
What's the big...
It's a strange like...
The big high rise, is that just empty?
No, there's people in there. The flats are really cool in there actually.
Yeah.
I know a couple of people who live in there.
Because that looks like there's no other high rise and then there's that on the skyline.
It's just this like strange beacon. I think it was built in like the 50s or something. I mean, it's probably...
I feel like I want to go to Dreamland though, really do.
I think you owe it to yourself. Get a slush puppy.
Before I got to go on that roller coaster, yeah. No, but like it, yeah. I mean, is it trendy? What makes a place trendy to live?
I think there's like loads of us moved because we couldn't afford to live in a big city anymore, and so that's the kind of gentrification pipeline of like. I mean, it feels weird to put myself in this, but like the cool young arty people, and then suddenly everyone's like, oh wow, okay, Britain's cool.
Yeah.
There's an art scene here. The queer scene's really quite beautiful, and there's like a nice like drag culture.
And have you got that you're non-monogamous, but do you have a partners?
I've got a couple. I've got a few.
Since you've moved here?
Yeah. I've got like, well, you know, I think it's a lot of the writing that I'm thinking that I'm doing right now is like how we differentiate romance from friendship.
Yes.
And actually a lot of my partnerships are founded on friendship and then with kind of different elements on top. But yeah, I've got some lovely people here, but and also in London and further afield.
Some of my best friends I completely love deeply. Yeah. Like, you know, so there is that lovely, not romantic. I don't feel romantic about it, but I definitely feel that there's a blurring of lines, isn't there?
But also, what if I'm not saying for me, like I have those friends who I love, and like I have lots of friendships that are completely platonic, but also like, what if you had sex with those people sometimes and it was really fun and you could build like an adventurous, playful, sexual dynamic with these people that you love and you've had in your lives for ages. It's just a bit like, it's looser, and that doesn't mean less commitment. It just means a bit more like fluidity. But that
Yeah.
gets read as it's not serious, and like unless you have a kind of capital R relationship, everything else is sort of insignificant. And I get that. Again, whole chapter in my book about judgment and how you navigate that.
Don't judge. Be what you want to be. I'm personally married and not going to be doing that.
But that's also like it's also not kind of one's better than the other. It's just like we're all trying things out. We're all doing things differently. Like that's what a lovely, beautiful thing.
And you know, I came from like a broken family, so where you know the boundaries are so blurred with all of us, aren't they? So I've purposely made it not like that with my own kids, so on purpose. But you know, what's to say they won't want to do something different to how we've brought them up, because that's what you do. You sort of.
Do you want to know a crazy thing?
Tell me. Dressing's going over the hot beans, rocket, cucumber, spring onion.
Trying to pick out some of the little bits that the NutriBullet didn't get, but that's okay. In a couple of days, am I going to use all of this?
This is a big salad.
I think so, good. Yeah. And then you do some mixing for me.
Right.
And then I'm going to look at the carrots.
You're going to look at the carrots. I think we're kind of there in the carrots.
Yeah.
My bottom of the oven trick worked because they've got a little bit of carrot. I've moved them up now.
Beautiful. I'm going to add this glaze. And then we'll just let them chill out there for a little bit longer, and then we're all done.
Gosh.
So in a couple of days, I am going for dinner
Yeah.
with my mum and my dad and my sibling, and we are celebrating 10 years since my parents got divorced.
Celebrating. That's nice.
Which feels, I think all of us have got slightly nervous energy about it, being like, it's kind of weird, but also we should commemorate this. Like, it was messy and...
Why nervous energy about it?
Because, I mean, that maybe sounds like very...
Flippant.
Woke and crazy and like, oh, it's all love, but also acknowledging that like it was hard. Like it was a tough thing, I think, for all of us to go through.
What did your parents do at the time? What were their professions?
My mum is like works in kind of art gallery world.
Yeah.
And my dad does like filmmaking for like corporate stuff. Is that the best way to describe it?
And paints,
so,
right?
Like, and paints. So, you know, I come from a very little arty middle class family where we like talked about our feelings. My sibling's a drag king and a costume designer.
Brilliant.
So look, we're like, I think it's allowed me to like flex my weirdo muscles, because all of us have just got like strange little creative things that we love doing. And I think I haven't come from a family where, oh no, you said bottom to really get it
Well, going. I think now you've got sugar in there. Yeah, it won't take long. It'll take 5 minutes, won't it? That's really great. So you're going to have a sort of dinner to celebrate 10 years of broken
home.
Let's not use the word broken. Then let's use.
But being like, okay, that relationship needed to end for both of them and kind of for all of us. But like, they're both really happy right now and in beautiful places. And like,
do they come to Margate and do you all go to the sea with your new windbreaker?
No, not yet. So far, we haven't done like...
When's that going to come out?
Mum, dad, both their partners, like whole vibe. Okay. But maybe one day.
Yeah.
But I, it feels quite nice to go, like, if I get married or do another, like, one of those, like, big life things or have kids that, like, my parents still have, like, a shared love because of, like, the kids that they have. And they... can be in the same room and like have like care for each other, because that's quite hard to do if it's been like if like the culture of what a divorce means and seeing that as like a failure and something that you should be ashamed of is really rough and kind of gets me, because I think the marker of a successful relationship is like satisfaction and growth and recognizing when that's not happening anymore.
Yes. And the product of that relationship, that they're well-rounded and happy individuals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big time.
Yeah. I always, I come from a very my parents split up, but like my brother and I, it was all, I was like, I want some chaos, I was like, definitely wanted lots of children because I wanted more than just me and my brother. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
I want a bit of chaos. I want a bit of like, I always sort of hope that I'll get some sort of mystery sort of sibling appears in years to come.
If you do the like ancestry thing.
We're like, yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah. I mean, I think we spend so much of our lives striving for perfection that is fictional, and actually inviting a bit more chaos into our lives and admitting that life is inherently messy can really like, I mean, it sounds very wanky, but like can really set us free. Because I still, even though I'm trying to do things kind of differently, I still recognize how often shame and social scripts creep into the way I assume I ought to behave.
Yes.
And
I feel like
trying to do something different.
I'm in a decade in front of you, so like I feel like how do you feel it'll change as you get to sort of midlife, really, I suppose? Like
that's a really good question.
Do you feel like your parameters and your sort of the things that govern the way you want to live your life now will change?
Maybe. I'm curious about how they'll change. I think a lot of the people in my day-to-day life...
Can we check your carrots? Yep.
Yeah. I think we're all kind of intentionally trying to do it differently. They look good.
More or less?
Let's keep them in there for a minute, but turn the oven off and then I'll plate them.
Yeah.
I think it's nice not feeling like I'm doing this in isolation, because I have lots of people in my life who are also questioning things and doing it differently. If it was just me, it would probably feel harder to do that.
As in the queer community?
Yeah. And all of us kind of going like, what if we try things out in different ways and we're not afraid to like make mistakes, but also be inventive and like be extra curious. But I don't know how it's going to, I think if I have a life that's not dissimilar to where I'm at right now, which is a beautiful thing to say, that like I love my life as it is.
That's good.
And I continue to be like the eccentric auntie to lots of the people I love's kids. That would be really lovely. I also, I don't know. I'm kind of open to anything right now.
And the eccentric auntie is great. We all need one of those in our lives, don't we?
I mean, I'm going to be doing a lot of like the talks.
Yeah.
I've already got a couple of friends being like, how do I, like, they're starting to do this or like ask these questions. How do I approach this? And it's
I'm
really
very
nice
open.
Flexing that.
We're very open with our kids.
You've got to be.
Grace, my oldest, because we looked you up when I said we're going to do this podcast. She was like, Mum, it's great that you're going to go and do Ruby. Like, you should ask her what her pronouns are and what she prefers.
Oh, that's very sweet.
And then she was like, and do the talk. It's really interesting. She looks really interesting, but just please don't discuss your sex life.
Hey, but like part of all of this is like, where are the boundaries? What do you not want to do?
I was like, Grace, I promise I won't.
That's very sweet.
But I feel like, I just bring my kids up like I want them to talk to me about everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's really refreshing, and there is no fear or stigma.
And there's no like bad questions.
No.
I think again, like as adults, it's so easy to go, oh my gosh, I have to know the answers to everything, and I have to be like self-assured.
I think
and for me, it's going like, what if you don't? What if you can just like, I don't know, is such a good answer.
Yeah.
And we don't think use it often enough.
Quite empowering for people, and the people who do say that are really the people that I want to identify with, the people who say I don't know, because there's people who just have got an answer for everything, like know-it-alls. It's just infuriating, isn't it? I love saying I don't know because I don't. And that's really refreshing, isn't it?
Yeah. And like not having to prove... I was at the mechanic yesterday, and it took me so long to find a mechanic who I actually liked, because I've just had years of going to like men who I leave and I feel like shit because I don't know about cars. But like I've not grown up knowing about cars.
No.
It's totally fine for me to not know this.
100%.
And like, there's stuff that I could teach them that they wouldn't know about. I'm not going to in that setting, but like we all have our areas of interest and expertise, and I really celebrate that. And I want us to get better at being able to share that.
And be able to fix cars ourselves, maybe.
I would love to do the Mongolian rally, but I just don't think I have like the skills in me. But maybe one day.
I don't know anything about cars either. And I'm terrible because I've kind of not bothered to know about cars. And I've been driving for years and years and years. But
yeah, I am not the world's best driver.
Carrots coming out of the oven.
Carrots coming out.
Do you have a car? You don't need one here, do you?
No, I've got a car.
Oh, do you? Do you want them in the bowl?
I want them in the bowl.
That is a really beautiful bowl.
That was my nan's bowl.
Did you make it?
I don't think she made it, but it was. I mean, someone made it, but like in the 60s. So
love that.
It's
carrots going in here. Ooh, just dropped 2 on the floor.
That's allowed. And then I think let's bring everything in.
Oh my goodness! I'm going to pick these carrots off on the floor.
I'm going to get serving bits.
Let's wash my hands. Oh. Right. It's very competent cooking, you know.
What do you mean?
You're very good at talking and cooking.
Oh, I
and
don't feel
the
like I'm
flow.
doing a good job of it at all.
No, you are.
Thank you. Right,
So
that's for the carrots.
Carrots going in here.
And then we need cutlery, and I think that's everything.
Right. Oh, I just love all this art. Here's the paintings of the naked lady at the beach.
Oh, I love that. She is... Wait, where's a nice fork?
I love that too.
Are you fussy with cutlery?
No, not at all.
Really,
Are you?
yeah, I basically have like a couple that I like using and everything else.
My daughters like that. They have one thin pronged fork that they all fight over.
This is my fork.
Right. So I won't use your fork.
No, you're fine.
This is great, this.
That is, oh my God, what's her name?
Love that.
Tara Booth.
Yeah.
I love it. And that has been me so many times in the ocean.
Do you swim all year round?
Yeah, I'm one of them.
After you.
Oh, thank you.
This looks so good. I love this little setup too.
Thanks. And you can choose your napkin
Well, thanks very much.
and glasses.
Oh, I like a bit
and
of
then I promise I'm done.
Which napkin would you like?
I want one of the checkered ones.
Yes, always.
So this is all from Sri Lanka.
Oh.
And so is this, because I was there in December and it was so nice just being like, I'm going to get all the textiles that my heart desires.
How long were you there for?
A month.
Wow, nice.
I'd not been there for about 8 years. So it was like, I really needed to do it.
We went, my husband and I, we travelled for sort of 4 months through India and then flew out through Sri Lanka.
Oh, nice.
But it was just after the tsunami.
Yeah.
So
then
we didn't stop. It was
intense.
I just saw this country that was just
Devastated.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were there for the 20th anniversary
Wow.
in December, and I was not there, but like my granddad was there, and a lot of my friends and family.
I've forgotten which is your
That one's mine.
Yeah,
Sorry to be that person.
Yeah, I'd love to take my kids to Sri Lanka. The food is incredible, isn't it? The culture, the food.
I mean, to be biased, I know, but like it is the best food in the world.
Thanks.
It just simply is. It makes me so happy, and it's got such a like. This is really this is kind of easy, simple stuff, but I love any kind of food that has like a real process and ritual to it. So I brought back like a coconut grater, even the thing that was like on the corner.
Yes.
And so that like making sambles as a process, it's just, yeah, I love it.
Well, thanks for cooking with me. I'm going to try now.
Pleasure. I hope it's
The carrots look really good.
Of
course it's going to be nice. What can go wrong?
I don't think anything can go wrong. Would you like some seeds as well?
The carrots are really good.
Living up to my full like vegetarian rabbit reputation, I put seeds on
like seeds and everything. Thanks.
You are welcome.
Right, I'm going to try your... Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for coming over.
Thanks for having me. It feels very proper.
Do you think?
Yeah. Right, I'm going to try this and then we can stop when I've tried this. I love the dressing. The dressing's delicious.
Yeah? Okay, I'm glad you approve.
I'm totally going to make that. I've made something like that before, but I've never made a bean dressing like that before.
And it's just sexy salad season. The next 4 months, I'm just like...
Sexy salad season.
Sexy salad season. It's like, this is my salad bowl.
And this is sexy.
I put something in it, it becomes sexy.
Thanks so much, Ruby.
Oh, pleasure.
Cheers.
It's been lovely having you over.
Thanks for listening to this Good Food podcast. If you'd like to listen to more of our podcasts, search Good Food wherever you listen to your podcasts. For more recipes and inspiration, go to goodfood.com or download our app.